Well, they're running a $27 billion deficit before the coronavirus crisis kicked off. And what did that buy us? Higher unemployment than the UK, the US, Japan, and Germany. Half of Canadians within $200 of insolvency. $150 billion in canceled projects. And in the last 3 months of last year, our economy ground to a halt with 0.3% economic growth. How could so much money buy so little?
Right Honourable Prime Minister. Question Canadians were asking themselves in 2015, because Stephen Harper and the Conservatives added over $150 billion to the national debt with nothing to show for it. We made the decision to invest in Canadians instead, put more money in the pockets of middle class. And what did we get? 1 million Canadians lifted out of poverty, over 1 million jobs created. What did they do? Cuts to services for veterans, cuts to health care, cuts to things that Canadians need. We now have room to maneuver to invest in the Canadian economy because of coronavirus. That's what we chose to do, Mr. Speaker.
The honourable member for Carleton.
Instead of defending his record, he states falsehoods about our record. There were 2 Conservative budgets prior to the Great Global Recession. And let's look at those budgets. 2006, according to the public accounts, a $13.8 billion surplus. 2007, delivered again by Jim Flaherty, a $9.6 billion surplus. Conservatives did the responsible thing and paid off debt to cushion us against the hard times that were to come, and that's why we had the strongest response to the Great Global Recession. Why did he spend the cupboard bare in the good times and leave us so weak and vulnerable now in the hard times?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Speaker, the member opposite asks a good question. Why? Why did we invest in Canadians? Why did we put more money in the pockets of the middle class? Because we knew it would create growth for Canadians. It would lift millions of people out of poverty. It would support families and seniors. It would grow our economy by investing in infrastructure that they had neglected for a decade, Mr. Speaker. Our investments have created growth that gives us the room to maneuver now, and we have the firepower to be able to invest in our economy given the coronavirus challenge, Mr. Speaker. That's the
honourable member for Carleton.
Roughly half of Canadians who were within $200 of insolvency before the coronavirus crisis hit would disagree that he invested in them. He says that we neglected to give $12 million to Loblaws. He's right that we neglected to give $50 million to MasterCard. He's right about that too. He is right that we neglected to give money to the big, well-connected corporate insiders whom he has favored with his deficit spending over the last 4 years. Mr. Speaker, is he now setting the stage to fill the coffers of his friends, to bloat the government, and to balloon the deficit with all of his rhetoric today?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Conservatives neglected to invest in our veterans by shuttering 9 veteran service centres. They neglected to invest in health care for our most vulnerable by shutting down refugee health care. Mr. Speaker, we made the decision to invest in Canadians and have reduced poverty more than any other government, lifting 1 million Canadians out of poverty over these past years, Mr. Speaker. And we did it because we know that investing in Canadians, investing for our future by supporting the middle class and people working hard to join it is exactly what Canadians need from a government.